Understanding women is one of the first steps to take if you want to have better relationships in the future. It's one of the first steps to take if you want to attract more women and overall have a better life. That's why understanding women and female nature is so important in this day and age. And that's probably why you've heard some of these talking points before in the past. However, I believe all of us do need a reminder. Even me myself, sometimes I need a reminder. That's why I want to construct a list of the top 10 things that every man needs to know in regards to female nature. And if you understand these 10 things, then I promise you, your life, your experiences with women, and your relationships with them in the future will overall be that much better. And honestly, if I was to ever have a son, best believe I will be showing him this video. Now lastly, some of these may in fact be a generalization. However, most of these are facts rooted in human biology. Remember, exceptions never make the rule. So without further ado, subscribe, like, let's go ahead and get started. Number one, if she doesn't perceive you as her best option, there will always be some degree of BS. Listen guys, you need to understand that women want the best man they can overall get. So if for some reason, for any reason, no matter if you got with her, no matter if you slept with her, if she doesn't perceive you to be the best option, best believe her eyes will always be wandering. This is why cheating happens, right? Do you think a woman would cheat on a man who she perceived as not her best option? No way in hell, man. Women only cheat on men who they perceived better than, or any sort of relationship issue within that. The point is, if she perceives you as her best option, you will overall have a better experience with the woman that you deal with. So what do you have to do? Either date women who you feel would be perceived as your best option, or level up more and more so that one day you can actually be the best option for the woman that you actually want. And that's why for my dating strategy overall that I teach to my students, that I do for myself, is that I believe the woman has to choose you first. Because whenever a woman chooses you first, she is telling you subconsciously that she perceives you in the moment right now to be her best option. And whenever you chase a woman or you're trying to convince her to like you, that's when probably the woman doesn't see you as her best option. Otherwise, she would have already made that connection for you. Another mistake is asking for the relationship first, right? Where guys are dating a woman, and trust me, if a woman perceives you as her best option in regards to a long-term commitment, she will bring up the monogamy talk. Whenever you're trying to cuff a girl way too fast, that once again shows that you're probably not her best option, and then from there that can lose attraction. So with that being said, let's move on to number two. Attention to women is like sex to men. Women thrive off attention, and that is their sole energy source. Whereas men, sure, we like attention, but for us, we value more sex. That's why at the beginning of the courtship process, it's a battle of the two genders. Women are trying to get as much attention as possible without giving sex usually, and men are trying to get sex as fast as possible without giving their attention away. However, this is where most men get wrong, where they give too much attention too fast to a woman in hopes of getting sex. And then from there, you know what happens when you give too much attention to a woman who hasn't earned it? Attraction lowers. So with that being said, if you understand that women thrive off attention, you should overall start valuing it more and only give your attention out to women who have earned it and who deserve it. Otherwise, you should hold your attention on a pedestal and really make them work for it. That will also keep the attraction as high as possible. Number three, women are cutthroat and operate in the best interests of themselves and their future potential offspring. This is all rooted in biology, guys. You ever wonder why a woman flaked on you or a woman stood you up and it seemed like she could care less? She slept perfectly at night for it. And the reason is because women are just naturally cutthroat, especially towards men they don't like. So the easiest way you can fix this is to just deal with women who like you, or deal with high interest women, because those women tend to be less cutthroat. However, under any circumstance, a woman is obligated and probably going to act cutthroat to some degree. We all have our stories where it seemed like something was positive one moment and then the next moment it just all went to crap. That's because women operate what's in the best interest of themselves. So instead of going out on a date with you, it was better for her to go hang out on a boat, or better for her to see some other guy who hit her up last minute. Whereas as guys, what do we try to do? Yeah, we operate in the best interest of ourselves, but from a dating perspective, it's a bit different. we try to go for quantity. So let's say 2 girls are hitting us up. We'll try to see them both within the same day. We'll try to schedule something so where we satisfy both parties. However, women, going back to the first point, want the best. So what do? They pick the best. And because of that, it makes them more naturally cutthroat and sometimes harsh when it comes to a man's feelings. Number 4, what they do versus what they say is totally different. That's why I really don't like doing a lot of public interviews with girls or even some of these podcasts that are really popular within the manosphere. Yeah, they are entertaining. However, they're rarely reality. And that's because I've realized a woman will say that she wants one thing or that she will do one thing and then act in the complete opposite. So understanding this, you need to go based on a woman's actions, not her words. A woman says she wouldn't forgive a man for cheating, but let the man be high value enough and her best option, best believe she'll forgive him 1,000 times, right? So go based on actions. Don't trust everything for word. I believe this goes without saying, and a lot of you guys already know this already. Number 5, most actions are controlled by their feelings and emotions, making them highly erratic, unpredictable, and fickle. This is why women will say one thing and then change their mind the day later. This is why she agreed to go out on a date with you Thursday, but changed her mind Thursday night. This is why women say one thing and do something else. It's because overall, their thoughts, actions, feelings, everything is controlled by their emotions, and emotions are fleeting. They change by the day, they change based on their hormones, they change frequently and often. So whenever you have somebody who is controlled by their emotions, it is very hard to trust what that person says, because you know in the given moment they're saying this because they're happy or they're excited or whatever. But let that mood change or let some external force affect their emotions, and then every other decision or thought could be affected. Whereas as men, we tend to think more logical, more rational, more 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, not 5, 4, 2, 1, 6. Right? So this is not to say that men aren't emotional either, because I met definitely some erratic emotional men. However, men act out emotionally more so with violence and madness due to testosterone. Whereas women, it's not necessarily violence or madness, but it's more fickle, and that really affects your decisions, especially if you're trying to get to know a woman or date her even long term. Number 6, without respect, there is no love. And even if there is love, keep in mind that it is usually conditional based on how she feels in the moment. Yes, a woman can love you. However, she must respect you first. All love is rooted within respect, and that is the first level or tier in order to get to that love stage. If a woman does not respect you, then she cannot love you. However, a woman can respect you and not love you, if that makes sense. So respect always comes first, and I believe men should value more respect more than anything. I don't care if a woman is telling me she loves me. Are her actions showing that? Is she respecting you? Does she value you? Right? That goes more so than a woman just saying, I love you, I love you, I love you. Remember that women are emotional and they speak from their emotions. So in the moment, she could love you, but more so she loves how you make her feel. Not necessarily a deep-rooted, unconditional love. Most love between the two genders is conditional to some degree, and you must understand that and be aware of that. Number 7, and this goes more into attraction principles, and that is characteristically, women are attracted to men who do not pedestalize them and who do not need them. That doesn't necessarily mean that a woman is attracted to an asshole. They're just attracted to men who kind of have their own thing going on, and they're not necessarily pedestalizing her. They're attracted to men who are a leader of other men and who have a life built upon themselves, and she is just an aspect of his life. This is why the popular term nice guys finish last come into play, because what do nice guys do? They pedestalize her, they value her, and they put her above him. Going back to the first point, what do women want? The best option they can get. So if you're too nice to a woman, if you're putting her before you, if you're pedestalizing her, you are signaling to her once again that you are not her best option. Whereas the quote unquote asshole or the bad guy, however you want to phrase it, usually signals to her that, hey, I don't need you. I put myself or my business or my purpose before you, and you're gonna have to accept and deal with that. And whenever a woman sees that, though she may complain, going back to another point, her actions say otherwise. She actually likes that sort of guy, though emotionally it may affect her, or though through her words she may complain about it. Now, another thing, and this goes more into physical attraction, is that women are attracted to men that exemplify good health, high testosterone, and masculine characteristics, right? So this goes deeper into the study of why women pick men based on physical. So obviously masculine characteristics include height, shoulder width, jawline, anything that is quote unquote considered dimorphic. And dimorphic means that your characteristics fall in line with that of the male gender and not the female gender. However, there are some nuances when it comes deeper into attraction, but just overall, women prefer masculine men, and men who look to some degree masculine yet attractive. And that also plays a part into genetics, your testosterone levels, and overall some things that can overall make you more sexy. Think of sex appeal too. Sex appeal is tied into this. Sex appeal can make a man look more masculine. Think of facial hair, tattoos, muscles, stuff like that. Number 9, you cannot change a woman. She is who she is, and if change is to happen, it has to be brought upon her. You know, Captain Save-A-Ho, or the guy who cuffs some promiscuous woman and then tries to change her over time through a relationship. It's never gonna happen, guys. Once a hoe, usually always a hoe. It has to be on her to change. You cannot change her. It's not even best to even cuff or be in a relationship with a woman who has these certain characteristics. You're better off finding new women and prospecting new women so that you don't have to deal with any of that sort of mess, because I promise you, a lot of guys discover female nature from the sole fact that they cuffed a hoe. Do not cuff a promiscuous woman. It will make your life a living hell, because you'll come to find out you cannot change her. Maybe for a little bit, for a few weeks, and then a few weeks later, what does she go back to doing? Her old promiscuous hoe ways. And speaking from that, a woman will try to change you over time, over the course of a relationship. And if she succeeds, attraction will be lowered. Whenever a man gets into a long-term relationship, he starts to settle, he starts to get comfortable. His woman starts to try changing his behavior. All the characteristics that made him attractive in the first place, a woman will try to come into your life and slowly make you soft. And at first it may seem good, oh, we're spending more time together, he's not so busy, he can make more time for me, he didn't go to the gym, instead we stayed in and watched movies and cuddled, oh, he's speaking his emotions to me, he's being more vulnerable, this is exactly what I wanted. And then 5 to 10 years later, where is the guy that I fell in love with? Why is this guy different? And women don't realize you changed him. You made him different, and now you don't like him anymore. So never let a woman change you. Stick to your habits, stick to your masculine, attractive ways that got her in the first place. And that's one of the easiest ways you can retain a woman long term. And number 10, this has to do with communication, and this is the last one. But remember that women are covert, indirect communicators. So with that being said, you must read between the lines. This comes from having a girlfriend, trying to attract a woman. Very rarely is any communication direct. That's why whenever you're trying to see a woman just to have sex with her, for example, you can't tell her, hey, when I have sex. You gotta be sort of covert and kind of read her cues and signals, and then from there, lead and escalate, because once again, most feminine women are followers. They're not gonna be leading you and being direct. Those are more masculine traits and characteristics. Another thing is obviously choosing signals, right? Choosing signals is a covert, indirect way of a woman letting her know that she's interested in you, and most guys don't pick up on stuff like that. Another example is that maybe a woman has ghosted you, but she could never directly tell you as a reason why. It just kind of happens through her actions, or you might ask yourself, why can't she just be direct with me? And the truth is, women can't be direct. It's very hard for them to be just solely direct. And a big reason of that too is because they care sometimes about the other person's emotions. Yes, they can be cutthroat, but because they're indirect, they care about other people's emotions and how it's gonna make the other person feel, and they don't wanna get into drama, because a lot of women are not confrontational. And if they are direct, if they are confrontational, if they are doing any of those things, then chances are you're dealing with a more masculine woman, and masculine women tend to be overall less attractive than the feminine woman overall. All right, so those were the 10 laws of female nature that every man needs to know and use and operate within their dating, whether it be short-term or long-term. And if you understand these things, I promise you, you will have a better experience and time with women because you actually understand them, all right? If you want more help in regards to attracting a quality woman into your life and the systems and processes that I use and implement to all my students, then check out my Digital Romeo mentorship. The link will be down below. I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Peace.